Yes, everyone, what's going on? Hope you're having a good Monday. Hope everything is all right in the world. And hope you're not taking any nonsense of any negative twats who don't think that 18-year-old boys can get their freak on when they're on holiday with their mates. Sort of on holiday with their mates, innit? But you know what I'm saying? Fuck it. Right then, cheers for joining us. This is Transfer Review. We are going to be talking about some of the transfers that look like they're happening. People are supposedly flying in, which is always good because it takes ages on a boat. And we're going to go through all of those transfers, give you my thoughts on them, what I think's happening, what I think's a load of rhubarb, and then we will get absolutely smashed into it. Cheers. Right then, first one we're going to be talking about is Jadon Sancho. Is there any updates, Steve? Fuck off. Flies in here. Right, so Manchester United apparently refused to match the asking price for Kai Havertz and focused on Sancho instead. That's according to The Sun. Well, I do know a little bit on the thing last year. United inquired about Kai Havertz and was told somewhere in the region of 100 million quid. Might have been 100 million euros, which is basically what he's just gone for. Makes no odds for me on that one. I think it is what it is. Like, he's a great player, Kai Havertz. But I don't think he would oust Bruno Fernandes, so I don't really see the point. Hopefully it does actually mean that we are trying to get Jadon Sancho in, and hopefully it means that we will get Jadon Sancho in. Fredrik A. Fieldvet, which is a Norwegian journalist, he says, small update on Jadon Sancho. Solskjaer talked to him several times. He tops the club's wish list and even wants a transfer to United. Solskjaer's message is simple to Woodward: fix it. I like it. That's what we're hoping. I'm going to come to one in a minute, which I've got a little bit of info on, and then it loops back round into this one. Also in the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable online blog, United are considering a one-year stopgap in a similar way to how Bayern Munich conducted signing Leroy Sané. In the event that they fail to reach a breakthrough, a loan deal for Douglas Costa could also happen. That is a name that I am hearing little bits of around. I'm not convinced he's anywhere close to being on the same level as Jadon Sancho, but that might be something to keep an eye on. Reguilón then. So Sergio Reguilón's been offered to United. The board and Ole are considering him as an option, and they're going to decide soon. Sevilla have asked him back for him back on loan from Real Madrid, and the race is still on also for other clubs, and that's coming from everyone's favourite transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano. The player has removed both dimensions of Real Madrid and Sevilla from his bio on Instagram, which has sent some fans into absolute meltdown. Sevilla were going to pay 20 million euros, and that was demanded for him from Madrid, but United will put 30 million on the table and pay 5 million euros a season for him. And from Senen Escalante. And also in the formerly great local newspaper, now disreputable online blog, it says United have been impressed by Vitaly Milonenko, which is a left-back for Dynamo Kiev. He's got 8 caps for the Ukraine. So there's clearly a desire from Manchester United to bring in a left-back, and this is another one that has really sort of stoked up some fire today, mostly coming from Ebola. And it says Monday's edition of Ebola states that Solskjaer's club have intensified contacts to sign the Brazilian left-back. Sevilla are interested. And why is that, do you think? But it's also made clear that United are very much out in front. They explain that the deal is so far down the line that Teller's representatives have even travelled to Manchester with the intention of pushing everything along and concluding a deal. The problem with that is Matt Judge is based in London, which is one problem. But what I think it suggests is there's a list and there's certainly a desire and potentially a priority emerging for United for left-back. And for everyone that's trying to pipe off Luke Shaw, that tells you what Solskjaer's thinking about him. Never mind his words, look at his actions. He clearly wants an upgrade on the left-back situation. Thiago. Romano's been talking, and he says at the moment United haven't contacted Bayern Munich. Yananga Fjortoft, who I think just like retweets whatever Romano says back to Barcelona and Spain or fulfill his dream to play in the Premier League. Decisive week coming up. Thiago to Chelsea is not happening. Well, no shit, mate. They can't sign everyone. And Toby Altschaf is saying FC Barcelona want him, but Koeman wants Wijnaldum instead. I swear to God, Messi is going to kick this little fucker in the face. If he's still got a job by the end of the week, that is. Thiago's, I think, an unlikely one for us. As much as I would be extremely excited, I just don't envisage us getting Thiago. It's just one of those, isn't it? He's still at his peak. Bayern Munich do not sell their peak players. I refuse to believe it. It does feel like if he's leaving, Liverpool seems a more likely destination, and that might tie in with, Wijnaldum moves on, and then Liverpool massively upgrade by getting Thiago. I can't believe Koeman's thinking about this. That's bananas. But yeah, I would take Thiago in a heartbeat. I just can't see him coming to United. Josh King. So, Josh King was a name we sort of saw a lot of emergence around coming January. He was clearly wanted by Ole. Obviously knows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer through his time at United. They've obviously got the Norwegian relationship as well, I would imagine. I find this a very curious one. There's not a lot of this in the press at the moment, but this is from me. You're going to start to see more of this. Whether that gets concluded or not, I'm not sure, but I think there's some real interest in Josh King from United, and I think it's a deal that you can get done. There's basically a fire sale going on at Bournemouth at the moment, and I do think that United are looking at the option of Josh King to strengthen what's going on in the striking department. He's a player that's going to take that Ighalo role for me, which when Ighalo goes back in January, you might have a little bit of an overstocking issue right now, but come January, you'll be fine. He isn't going to demand to play every week. He's certainly not on the same level as the likes of Tony Marshall and that. But he also offers something a little bit different. He's a bit more combative. He's a little bit better as a hold-up man. He's a little bit different to what we have in Greenwood, Rashford, Tony Martial. The value is listed there at 14 million. I think you get him for that, to be honest. There's been players going for around 15 million. He's got 15 to 20 million from Bournemouth. He's got a year left on his deal. He doesn't score a lot of goals, doesn't get a hell of a lot of assists, but he does offer you a different way of playing, and he does give someone the night off when he's played. Now, I said I was going to loop back round to Sancho. I reckon if they're going to do this, the club, they have to get the Sancho deal done first. You know what United's fan base is like. You know what that online audience is like. If we've announced Van der Beek, which I'm pretty happy with, he's certainly not like, superstar signing that Sancho perhaps would be, or Thiago perhaps would be. He's a good squad player, which is what I think Josh King would represent. But if they just announce Josh King on the back of Van der Beek, everyone's going to lose their mind. What United need to do now to be smart is they need to get the Sancho one done, so everyone's fucking buzzing, and then everyone's perception of what Josh King represents shifts a little bit. You get Sancho in, everyone's fucking, yes, we mean business. And then you bring Josh King in, everyone goes, oh, decent. If you sign Josh King on the back of bringing Van der Beek, everyone's like, fucking hell, we signing him for? Where's fucking Sancho? You know that's exactly what the reactions are going to be. If United have wrapped this one up, I would urge them to ice it until you can announce him with Jadon Sancho or following Jadon Sancho or someone equally as mind-bendingly good as that. Because if people think you've just signed him as your star player, they're going to fucking lose their mind. And to be fair, almost quite rightly so. I think people get the wrong end of the stick because clearly he's not going to get signed for that reason. I would hope people can recognise that. But tasty player for what we would get him to do and the money that we would get him for. So I'd be very happy to see Josh King in a United shirt again. And I would be even more happy to see him brought in following a big money deal from somebody. That is the one. Right, that was the ins. Only one out really to talk about, and that is the very protracted, because it seems to have gone on for a while, Chris Smalling to Roma. Romano has been talking, and he says the agreement between AS Roma and Manchester United for Chris Smalling is now getting closer. Smalling wants to come back. Can't blame him. Had a good season over there in that there Italy. The fee's around 13-14 million euros at the moment. We will see final stages, is what Romano says. No issues with that whatsoever. United do need to trim a little bit of the fat at centre-half and hopefully make way for a proper centre-half to come in. Squad's moving in the general right direction. Not as fast as we would all hope, I'm sure everyone would like to agree. Get some questions in for us, and I'll get into those in a second. But what's your thoughts on any of those that we've just discussed? King, Reguilón, tell us. Let's see what everyone's saying. Ighalo is a better option, says Jay. Do you know what? I probably would agree with you, to be honest. It just doesn't look like that's an option. I don't think you're probably going to have to pay him anywhere near that you would. A lot of comments in there. Just not feeling Josh King. That's fine, I guess. Do I think Sancho, Reguilón, Van der Beek and Sancho is possible? I think you're only going to get Sancho once. I don't think you're allowed to buy him twice. Rather Dean it or Pook it over King. I don't know. I think he's a bit more dynamic than either of those two, to be honest. Why do we not go for Wilson over King? 20 million. It's a good shout. I think Wilson would have done a similar job and maybe is a little bit of a better footballer, but yeah, maybe. Again, it's what personality fits at the right time, isn't it? So, you know. Is it realistic to think we could get a decent centre-half without a stupid fee? I think there's some decent deals to be had. I don't know who, but I think there is some decent deals to be had. I would look at the way, like, Thiago, for the money they're talking about for him, is outrageous, isn't it? What's more important sign at the moment, centre midfield or a centre-back? I think if he's not happy with the centre-halves, then a centre-half. Because I think we've got some quality in midfield, but a centre-half is very vital to... You know, the entire team has to start from the back, doesn't it, the way we play? So, yeah, I would like to see that. Alejandro says, Bale to United. Wouldn't rule it out, to be honest with you. Tellers is 6, says Mark. And is VDB going to start? I'm sure he'll start. He'll start plenty of games. Just remembered that we had Blind as a left-footed centre-half. We did. Jose that. Here's the thing. If we'd have took on Solskjaer straight after Mourinho, he might have been able to utilise and develop what Louis was doing a little bit better than Mourinho, who had an entirely different system and style of play. Mitrovic a better option than King, in my opinion. It's not a bad shout. Yeah, I wouldn't discount that one. Thomas Partey, decent, yeah, but I think if we're going for being a ball-playing team, I understand why you would want Thiago, although I certainly wouldn't turn my nose up at Partey, no way whatsoever. Centre-back and Sancho and a backup left-back are all equally important. I do put a lot of emphasis on the right-back, or the right wing, sorry. I think a right winger would be massive for United to balance out that going. We just haven't had balance for years. We've not had balance. Whoever plays right back gets well exposed because they just look ahead and it's like, oh, everyone's fucked off inside. Yeah, cheers, lads. If Ollie gets backed and doesn't get top 3, he should be sacked, says Dan. Well, sometimes there's external factors, isn't there? What happens if the entire squad gets injured? Should he be sacked then? I don't think you can be as black and white about it, to be honest. Do I think Timbo, that is, could play left back? He could play anywhere, but he needs to get regular games, otherwise he's never going to reach his potential. Do I think United could wait until next year for Sancho? So yeah, that was one of the reports that seemed to mention next year as a potential thing if United can be patient. I'm not sure United can afford to be patient, to be honest. I think we need to do whatever business we can do now. Is Delo good enough for right back? Delo's very good on the ball. Defensively, I think he's got a little bit of work to do, and unfortunately, it seems like it's one extreme to the other, doesn't it, with Wan-Bissaka and Delo? What on earth was I doing with Little Man the other day? I was hosting a boxing event. Good time. The fight's in 3 weeks, I think, in Manchester. Brandon should go on loan or something like what Chong is doing. Well, I think he's more established than Chong ever is going to get at United, to be honest with you. What do I think about Eduardo over Josh King? I think for what we're going for, I'd go with Josh King. Reguilón top players. Tellers would be another Darmian. Oh, that's a bold claim, isn't it? That is a bold claim. Right, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are new. Loads more content coming out this week. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.